Lord, jeez.
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Marshall's recent tweets that resurfaced. I did a part 1 of this video, and I'm doing a part 2. And I want to talk about the reason why this is important and why we need to talk about this, and also the fact that this apology was trash. No, look, some of you are going to think I'm doing too much. Wait to the end of this video and you'll see that I'm not doing too much. The apology was trash. Okay? All right? Absolute trash. And I'm going to explain why. Make sure you stick to the end of the video. If you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Like it, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because out there are hot. All right, cool. Let's break it down straight away. The reason why this particular apology is trash is because it doesn't even address the very people it's meant to address. Number 2, it doesn't hit any of the criteria in terms of an apology language when he's apologizing. Right? First and foremost, let me make it blank and clear. Number 3, the reason why we're talking about this and the reason why old tweets are important because they provide us a foundation as to our future person or present person we're looking at as to why they make certain decisions. For instance, i.e., choosing Jacqueline as your choice. Why is that was your choice? It may be because when we go back into your history and we look at what you've actually said, how you've prefaced that Latino women are a better preference, and I will show you the tweets again to refresh your memory as to what he said, then you can understand why this has become an issue, right? But not only did he also elevate Latino women, which actually wouldn't have been a problem. If he praised Latino women and said, I love Latino women, I think they're sexy, I think they're amazing, I think they're great, they do this, they do that, the argument would have been about preference, right? It's just what you prefer. Right now, see, when I prefer strawberries, I don't have to say, but I hate bananas. I want you to catch what I'm saying to you as to why this is problematic. And when we talk about preference, what it actually means, right? I like black women. I don't have to say white women are ugly. That's why I don't like them. No, I don't like them because of culture. Not that I don't even like them. I prefer black women because of our culture, because of our history. They look like me. They smell good. They taste good. You know what I'm saying? We have the same kind of banter. You know what I'm saying? Etc. Right? They understand my struggles. They understand my wins and stuff like that. But I don't have to say, but, the reason why I like black women is because, white women aren't great. White women are this. I don't need to explain that. I don't need to put down someone else in order to raise the other. And so the fact that he talked about Latina women, fine. It would have been left as a preference. I'm sure some people would have been still pissed off, but it doesn't matter. That's his preference. Okay. Now, the added part is those tweets that came out. Just refresh your memory. Some of the tweets that came out, look, about black women. A group of sad black girls that sit in a damn circle sharing their stories on why men ain't. I tell you, black females, why you walk into a restaurant and what do you see? A white couple, a Hispanic couple, an Asian couple, and a group of black girls. All right. So that's the kind of things that he was kind of tweeting back in the day, right? Of course, he was like young, etc. Like legit Latino 80 to 100% purebred. She was Latino too. I want a Latina girlfriend, only so she can speak Spanish Latina girls know how to treat their dude. Okay. That part there would have been simply being his preference on the right-hand side. But when you add the left-hand side, we got a problem, right? Because your elevation is about de-escalating another, right? We didn't have to be involved in this. And when I say we as a black folk, but actually it's black women, right? So I'm trying to hopefully make it very clear as to what the problematic behavior here by going straight to it. Okay. Now, the biggest issue with this situation, with currently what we see with Marshall, is the apology was not an apology. And actually, it really goes back into that savior complex. I'm too good of a guy. I'm a nice guy. I'm perfect. The perfect syndrome, once again, playing even into how he talks about the scenario. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to break it down for you so you can understand where I'm coming from and why my mindset is the way it is. Because I had some comments saying he was young. Well, cool. He's replied now, and I can show you he talks about growth, and I'm looking for the growth. He talks about growth, and I'm looking for the growth. The only growth is you stop tweeting about black women. That's all I can see. But in terms of actual growth, let's look at the response that he gave as an apology for what he actually did, right? And this is why I talk to you guys about language all the time, because it reveals the heart and mind of the individual person. Now, let's look at this. Here's a tweet on April 21st, 2023. Not 22, not 21, not a couple years ago, but after the show and everything has come out, he responds. He says, like I said to someone earlier, in fact, no, I think I've missed part of the tweet. The first part, I apologize. Okay, so he says, I'm seeing a lot of old tweets surface from years ago. This happens to pretty much everyone who goes into the public eye. Now, let's first start this. Does it? Does it happen to pretty much everyone who goes into the public eye? There's a topic of misogynoir, because it's not misogyny, it's misogynoir, the hate of black women, right? The hate of black women, not just women, black women specific, is misogynoir. This happens to pretty much everyone who goes into the public eye. No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't go to everyone in the public eye. It goes to people who actually done this. And then it adds another aspect. It happened to my cousin, and I knew it happened to me. So again, you know, this situation, it happened to my cousin, and I knew it happened to me. Why would it happen to you? Right? Unless you already had tweets there, which we know you do, of course, because we're calling out right now, right? But why the expectancy? Why the expectancy? You know, what I should have even gone and research what the cousin actually said. I wonder if it was in the same alignment with what he had said as well, right? So that's the first and foremost thing that I was like, okay, I'm alerted to that, right? Because we haven't got an apology yet. This is not an apology. That's an acknowledgement of the fact that he was going to be called out. Nothing to do with actually acknowledging what he's done wrong. It's an acknowledgement of being called out. Look, it's not even an acknowledgement of what he's done wrong. Look, it's an acknowledgement of being called out. This happens to pretty much everyone who goes in the public eye. Is that an apology? Is that an acknowledgement of what he done wrong? No, it's an acknowledgement of him being called out. Okay, cool. Number two, like I said to someone earlier, things change. Still ain't got an apology. I was a sad teenager with a lot of issues when I tweet a lot of that. Still ain't got an apology. I've grown. I do not feel or think the same way. Still ain't got an apology. Right? What he's telling me is that he's grown and he's changed. I still ain't got an apology. Right? Okay, cool. Anyone with anything to hide would have gone back and deleted it, but I left up for no. See, what we're gonna do is now use a bit of reverse psychology here. Yeah, we're gonna use a little bit of reverse psychology here. All right, we're gonna use a little bit of reverse psychology. Anyone with anything to hide would have gone back and deleted it, but I left it up for a reason. Okay, cool. Now, okay, let's go with his premise that he left it up for a reason. I'm gonna show you something. If he left it up for his premise to show you has been growth in this area, right? Like he doesn't believe that anymore. Okay, let's put it to test. We're gonna put it to test. He said, I even had a chance to go back and erase it. I elected not to. Where's the apology? It's my progression as an individual, as a human. Those old tweets are just my proof that I have evolved. Where's the apology? I thank God for the opportunity to be damaged, seek clarity and forgiveness, and develop into a better person. Where's the apology? Where is the apology for the party that would have been injured in what you did? Why is the whole tweets that we put in 3 about what you do and your growth, but there is no apology, right? And just to kind of make it very clear, I'm going to show you as a framework with the 5 apology languages. None of this fit what he actually said here. None. He rather told us how great he is and how evolved he is, but I don't see where the evolved is, because he didn't even, as a form of let me explain and say something to you. I injured the party and I said to the black women, do you know what? I realized, you know, my tweets of old were bad, right? They weren't great, you know. So has he read up around some of the behaviors that he exhibited in that young age? Since he was aware of those old tweets coming back up, has he done some work around that area? Has he gone and searched some knowledge? Now, some of you are going to, and I'm talking about specifically men who are going to challenge me in this, right? And the reason why you're going to challenge me is because it doesn't affect you. So you think it's like that. But if it was a racist person, we'd all have the same qualm, right? So just before you jump on my throat as a man and say, let it go, I want you to think about it. If he was a racist white person saying this about black people when he was younger, we would be asking for where's the growth, right? And how do I see it? You not tweeting about black people doesn't mean there's growth. Right now, let me see some knowledge and some wisdom that you've grown and attained in now realizing where you went wrong back then. Right? Let me see that. Right? Let me see that. Right? So now Now you've told me about how you've grown and how great it is. What part of the apology does it hit? Let's go to 5. I went to the 5 apology languages because I wanted to bring that up a little bit as well. Okay. Let's look at this. Number 1. Okay. Number 1, expressing regret. Okay. First apology language, expressing regret is simply the act of saying, I'm sorry. While it sounds obvious enough, many people will allow pride or guilt to get in the way of this kind of apology. Along with saying the words, I'm sorry, Thomas says this type of apology involves listing the hurtful effects of your actions and showing remorse. It doesn't count if someone's only sorry that they got caught. Now, which part of his apology hits the expressing regret? Where did he express regret? And where did he actually tell us what he did wrong? He didn't. Okay. And that's number 2, accepting responsibility. Maybe this is closer to where he's going to get to. The second apology language, accepting responsibility, occurs when someone earnestly admits they were wrong to do what they did. Along with acknowledging your fault in a situation, Thomas says to name the mistake. Name the mistake so it doesn't ring hollow. Note that it is easier to say you are right than I am wrong, but the latter carries more weight. Right? She notes the person should be able to explain what they did wrong and why it was wrong. Did he explain what he did wrong and why it was wrong? Did he explain that to us in those apology tweets? No. Okay. Making restitution. The third apology language, making restitution, includes finding a way to correct a situation, right? This is common apology scenario if something is lost, broken, or damaged. An apologizer offers to replace an item or pay for inconvenience. It can also occur in more serious situation if a person is deeply betrayed. The person who did it makes it up to them. Okay. Now, I mean, restitution in this instance, not really a thing that can be done here. And so I'm not expecting that as an apology language. Genuinely repenting. Okay. The fourth apology language, genuinely repenting, requires a change of behavior. With the apology language saying sorry is not enough, engage in problem solving. Don't make excuses, make a better specific plan for change. Thomas says there should be a sincere drive to do better. Is there some problem solving? Is there, I've been involved in certain camps in terms of how to educate other people. Has there been, I've gone into to research and engagement in terms of my own misogynoir and as to why I said what I said in those times. I'm genuinely a part of some problem solving that's happening. No, that wasn't part of the apology either. Requesting forgiveness. Okay, the fifth apology language, requesting forgiveness, allows the other person time to process their hurt before assuming everything is back to normal. Saying, I'm so sorry for letting you down. Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Place the power back into the hands of the hurt party. While most people won't refuse an apology altogether, it does leave room for them to make exceptions, including the need for repentance or restitution. Does he ask for forgiveness in the tweets that he put in there? No, he tells us how great he is and how evolved he is. So yes, I don't believe this is an apology that he gave us. I believe this was poverty. I believe this was more of a case of, look at me, I'm great. And I know some people won't look at it that way because they look at Marshall as an angel. And I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad person. What I'm saying is I don't believe there's been growth on that position. You just stop tweeting about black girls. Calling black women queens right now, but you're lacking an apology, don't mean you've grown. Sorry to say it, don't mean you've grown, right? And nothing even in here even says he was wrong, right? Like I said to someone earlier, things change. I was a sad teenager, right? Let's look at it again. Nothing in this explains where he was wrong. I was a sad teenager. I was grown. I do not feel or think the same way. Anyone with anything to hide would have gone back. Instead of saying how he was wrong, he now further exasperates by going, but if anybody, look, if I was so bad, quote unquote, if I was such a bad person, if I was so mean, if I was so ugly, if I was so unkind, I would have deleted those tweets. That's what he's trying to use as psychology to prove to us that he's actually a better person. But all you need to do was apologize. All you needed to do was say sorry. I've even had a chance. I even had a chance to go back and erase it. Okay, I elected not to. What for? Where is your growth? Where is your communication to us to say, look, I changed here and I've grown. I've understood what made me act the way I did then. I've understood what made me say what I said then. And I realized the impact it's had on other people around me. Where is that particular conversation? It's not there. Now, maybe I've missed it. I want to be fair. I haven't gone through every tooth and comb of his conversation, but this wasn't an apology. Right? Someone says that I don't know you, but I commend you for your transparency and accountability. Where was the accountability? I'm not the offended party. Then keep quiet because you don't understand it, right? I'm not the offended party as I'm not a black woman, but I'm curious to know, did you ever unpack what inspired you to think and probably those things about black women? Now, that's the point. Did he ever do that? No. There is no transparency here or accountability. He didn't hold himself accountable. This is why A. Morris's thing. I love this. You can grow. You're human, but where's your apology and sense of regret for how you discuss black women? You have relatives that are black women. Think how this makes them feel. Don't clear the air unless it includes a blatant apology. You are blatantly anti-black. Be blatantly sincere in your apology to black women. Absolutely, because there was nothing there telling us he was being real. Someone said here, oh, lol, jokes. Everybody's allowed to grow. He wasn't anti-black. He was a teenager. Observing a black teenager around him doesn't make it right, but it doesn't mean he deserves hate or any attack. Y'all need to calm down. But the thing is, it wasn't observations. At a point in time, it doesn't become observations, right? Because it came with a whole rhetoric. The whole black women are single, black women haven't been married, black women percentages of why they're low, right? In comparison, when black women marry black men. And so 80% of marriages that are black between black people are black men and black women. So if the women are low, 26%, the black men are also low. So what are we saying about one-sided rhetoric? This is also what I mean by misogynoir, because if you only come with one-sided rhetoric, which Manosphere does quite a bit as well, I've seen it, I've encountered it quite a bit as well, all right? When you tell stats in a particular way and don't include the other side, it's like, oh, there's so many single mothers. Who impregnates them? Who impregnates them? Other men. Okay, right? Cool. So when we put rhetorics that are one-sided, and for instance, talking about how when you go into a coffee shop, you see a bunch of black women. Yeah, well, where's a similar story about how black men are? Because it's stereotypical, right? I go into the ends, and I just see black men not achieving, sitting on corners, selling crack and dope, and selling weed. That's what they do. Shame. It sounds like a white supremacist type of conversation, right? When it comes out your mouth, whether it's for a black person or a white person, you must understand that rhetorics, tones, and certain conversations carry a certain energy, and that the tweets he was putting there carried that energy of misogynoir. And so when I said that if he's grown, I want to see that you've been educated. If you tell me you've grown in what you did, but none of it did. You didn't express regret. You didn't accept responsibility. You didn't make a restitution. All right. You haven't requested for forgiveness. And I haven't seen no genuine repenting. So you haven't been in problem solving. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? There was growth here for him. I'm yet to see it. That's why I'm so hard on it. That's why I talk about these things. Both men and women get my smoke on this channel. If you say some dumb stuff, I'm going to call it out. I've been called out myself. I had a situation, if you haven't followed me long enough, I had a situation with Kayla last year. I made a mistake. And then I explained why I got to that position and how I was thinking. I said I was ego driven. I said I was focused about the money, right? I stopped thinking about her, how she felt, because I don't really care, right? And I was all thinking about me. And I'm sorry, it was wrong. I apologized. My followers know me who have on this channel. I've apologized for when I've got too irate or too angry in a conversation. I've apologized. Because at the end of the day, when you make a mistake and you genuinely are sorry for it, you don't have to put your ego in it. You just say sorry and you move. Where was his sorry? Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and loaded. I'm sure people will disagree in the comment section. Please do. If you agree, let me know too. All right.